Welcome to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
So today we're diving into the dance journey of Zhang Jingxian, also known as Xian Bao.
Right. We have this really interesting interview you shared about his time at Peking University, former president, choreography captain at Feng Lai Street Dance Association.
Exactly. And our mission really is to unpack his experiences, pull out those key insights, those aha moments, see what we can learn about his path in dance.
It's a great narrative because it spans, from early childhood right through to these major university leadership roles.
Yeah, it gives us a really rich picture.
Absolutely. It's not just about his personal growth, but it also kind of opens a window onto those student dance communities in China, which are fascinating.
Okay, so let's start at the very beginning. His entry into dance wasn't exactly typical, was it?
No, not at all. It wasn't the parents pushing for piano lessons or anything.
Right. It was a teacher at his kindergarten, a military-affiliated one, who suggested it.
Yeah, and apparently the bar for boys was pretty low back then. Just needed to be adaptable for the modern and folk dance class.
Just show up and adapt.
Pretty much. It kind of shows how these chance encounters, these low barrier opportunities, can sometimes spark something huge.
Definitely. But it wasn't all smooth sailing right away. He hit a setback pretty early on.
Ah, right. Being left out of that first performance.
Yeah, the Shuai Qi Li on How piece. He admitted he cried about it secretly.
But then his mother stepped in. That seems pivotal.
Totally. She and his grandfather actually went and talked to the teacher to find out why he wasn't picked.
That's really proactive, and it highlights how important that kind of parental advocacy can be, especially early on.
For sure. The teacher gave specific feedback, apparently, and then his mother practiced with him at home.
See, that's the key. Understanding the why and then actively working on it. It wasn't just about being upset.
Exactly, and it worked. He started excelling in auditions after that, often getting lead roles. He said it was down to coordination.
So that intervention really turned things around for him.
It seems like it. He kept dancing until fourth grade. But then another shift happened.
Okay, what was that?
A leg injury happened while practicing at home.
Ouch.
Yeah. And his parents suggested taking a break. He also felt, Beijing's academic pressure was a factor.
That classic tension between arts and academics.
And also maybe the fact that his dance class was mostly girls.
Interesting. So multiple factors playing into that decision. Academic pressure, injury, maybe some social dynamics too.
Right. So for about 4 years, dance was off the table. He focused on school, started tutoring in 5th grade.
A real shift towards academics.
But dance wasn't gone forever. It came back in high school, grades 11 and 12.
Oh, yeah. For what reason this time?
Fitness, actually. He'd gained quite a bit of weight after stopping dance.
Ah, okay. That's relatable.
So he joined a local studio, weekly classes during vacations, though he later said they were like super low intensity.
So a gentle re-entry. More about well-being than hardcore training at that point.
Seems like it. But then came Peking University, and that's where things really ignited.
Right, this is where dance becomes central. He didn't expect it, apparently.
No. He joined the Feng Lai Street Dance Association, auditioned for both the choreography urban team, they called it then, and the hip-hop team.
And got into both.
Yeah.
Despite not having a huge street dance background.
Yep. But initially, it was kind of like high school again, weekly practices, but not super deep in the community yet.
Okay, so just dipping his toes in at first?
Yeah.
What changed that?
The Ki Wu competition, ensemble dance, that was the big one, freshman year.
The Crucible experience.
Totally. His first real deep dive into the street dance community there. He talked about the long hours.
Until 11 p.m. midnight.
Yeah, and the essential late-night family mart runs for food.
Classic. Shared suffering builds bonds, right?
Definitely. The organizer, Liao, recruited loads of freshmen, probably because the older students knew how tough ensemble dance was.
Smart move by Liao. Get the eager, unsuspecting freshman.
He did say he felt a bit hustled into it, didn't quite realize the commitment.
I bet. But those intense experiences, even if overwhelming then, often become the most memorable and formative, don't they?
Absolutely. They worked with a pro choreographer, Lil teacher from TI Dance Studio.
Okay, so proper guidance.
Yeah, though the team put in a lot of work refining things, too. It's funny, he remembers it really positively now, calls them battle buddies. But his social media from back then, totally different story. Emo, anxious, stressed about academics, not losing weight.
Wow. That's a stark contrast.
Yeah, another teammate, Lu Jing, also remembered it as a tough adjustment period. It really shows that rose-tinted memories thing, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially when you succeed in the end. Their team did well, didn't they? A historical achievement for them, he said.
Yeah, that probably helped paint the memory gold. But the intensity was real. Late nights, pressure.
He was glad he was a freshman then. Fewer classes.
Yeah, he thought it would have been way harder as a senior. But ironically, that semester was his highest GPA in his first 3 years.
Get out. While barely sleeping and dancing constantly. That's wild.
He admitted he didn't really understand the law courses he was acing, and later realized GPA wasn't everything.
That's a whole mood.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes pressure focuses you in weird ways, even if you don't feel like you're learning deeply.
True. He also mentioned senior members, Yan Yuanji, Bei Shenji.
The mentors.
Yeah, really supportive, even though they apparently had their own issues, disagreements with the choreographer that the freshmen didn't know about.
That hidden layer of leadership dynamics. Important stuff happens behind the scenes.
He admitted he had very little clue about the association's operations back then, but that whole competition experience, it was foundational.
How so?
Conditioning, obviously, but also that exposure to Lele, a top Beijing choreographer, planted a seed.
Right, setting the stage for what came next.
Yeah.
Which was...
Leadership. He became captain of the urban team after freshman year.
Wow, that's quick. How did that happen?
The previous captain, Jiaki, suggested him, and teammates like Lu Jing and Yuhan supported it. Yuhan even became vice captain, though she didn't want the top job.
So people saw potential in him beyond just his dancing.
Seems so, and he took it seriously. That summer, he did a month-long intensive at R&B Street Dance Studio.
Ah, R&B. Big name in Beijing?
Yeah. Foundation classes, choreography classes, different teachers, different styles, popping, voguing, hip-hop, isolation.
Broadening his horizons significantly.
Totally. Xian, another member, apparently noticed a huge improvement in him after that summer.
That focused training paid off.
He said it gave him a much deeper understanding of choreography beyond just like K-pop styles, Chinese traditional elements, isolation, abstract stuff.
So really digging into the craft, learning from top teachers at R&B must have been huge.
Definitely. But being a sophomore captain wasn't easy. He felt pressure.
Like imposter syndrome.
Kind of. He admitted he didn't think he was the best dancer on the team. Thought Yuhan, his vice captain, was technically better.
That's all.
But he started realizing his own strengths were maybe elsewhere. Decision-making, setting a direction for the team.
Ah, the difference between being the best player and being the best captain. Important distinction.
Exactly. And he started making changes as captain. Key initiatives.
Okay, like what?
First big one. Required all choreography team members to take practice sessions in at least one other style team.
Ooh, cross-training. Smart. Why?
He saw the team was too focused on just learning popular choreo, especially K-pop. He wanted them to build a stronger foundation.
Makes sense. Knowing fundamentals helps you pick up choreography faster, right?
That was his argument. Like, if you know a house cross-step fundamentally, it's easier when it pops up in choreography. Reduces the mental load.
Yeah, you're not learning it from scratch every time.
He felt many who struggled just lacked that foundational exposure. He thought back then, like 2018, 2020, hip-hop and jazz fundamentals covered most bases.
Though he noted styles are always evolving, right?
Yeah.
More house.
Yeah.
Poppin' creeping in now.
Right. His second big push was about energy and dance.
Energy. How so?
Moving beyond just the idol image focus, he used himself as an example, maybe a heavier dancer, but still able to move people with energy.
Love that. It's not just about looking a certain way.
Exactly. He encouraged enjoying the moment, genuine connection between teachers and students, fostering a better learning vibe.
A more positive environment.
And he noticed something else, people pre-learning the choreo from videos before class.
Trying to ace the test instead of learn.
Precisely. So he stopped sharing the choreography beforehand.
Bold move. How did that go down?
He wanted them focused on his teaching, the music, the energy in the room, not just recalling steps. Stress the energy between dancers and with the music.
That really shifts the focus back to the process of learning and feeling, not just the product.
And it seemed to work. He got really positive feedback from senior members like the former president.
They noticed a change in the urban team.
Yeah. After his first semester, other teams were apparently surprised by the variety in their choreo at the freshman orientation show.
So moving beyond just copying popular stuff.
Right. Incorporating partner work, formations, stuff that was innovative for their team then. Liang Shiqin was apparently super enthusiastic after that show.
Validation for his approach.
And his practices weren't just about learning steps. He focused on how to train. coordination, breathing, texture.
Teaching the fundamentals within the context of choreography practice.
Sometimes spending most of the practice on fundamentals, which was, and maybe still is, kind of unusual for choreography classes.
Yeah, often it's just learn the routine, go, go, go.
He did observe a shift back towards just choreography in Beijing studios later.
Interesting. And his U.S. experience was different.
Yeah, in the U.S., especially New York, he saw foundation classes are separate. Choreo classes assume you train fundamentals on your own. They focus more on the teacher style, musicality.
So different models of training.
He felt that for choreo classes, ideally you need intention. You need to know what you want to get out of it.
But maybe not everyone in a university team practice has that specific intention.
That was his point, especially in internal practices. So the instructor kind of has to provide content that grabs attention, sparks something.
Makes sense. You have to meet the students where they are.
He agreed choreo elements come from other styles, but believed there are good ways to teach how to learn choreography itself, using coordination drills, for instance.
So techniques for learning, not just the steps.
Yeah. He also observed dancers only trained in old-school styles sometimes struggled with newer choreo that broke those patterns.
Interesting point.
And his feeling was many students in studios are just learning routines, not deeply analyzing the teacher's process, maybe linked to not creating their own work.
Possibly. If you don't choreograph, maybe you don't watch with that creator's eye.
Could be. Anyway, despite all this thinking, he said his time as captain was really positive, fulfilling.
Good to hear. Though Zhang Jingxian mentioned the next year was tiring for the team.
Yeah, that came up, a potential downside of pushing hard, perhaps.
Always a balance to strike in leadership.
So junior year, he stepped back from captain, gave the role to Xian, became vice captain to support him.
Okay, shifting roles, what did that allow him to do?
Explore original choreography more. He admitted he didn't feel ready as a sophomore, lacked confidence, experience.
Understandable. Lu Jing had tried blending stuff earlier, right?
Yeah. But Xin Bao's first complete original piece was junior year, to Givian's heartbreak anniversary.
The classic artistic fuel, unrequited feelings.
Totally. He said that was basically the motivation. Plus, he felt his street dance skills have progressed enough he felt ready.
Good timing. And channeling those emotions into dance.
He found it really rewarding. But the process was tough.
Creating original work usually is.
Yeah, arrangements, coordination, formations, moving beyond just symmetry and the center spot, he worked crazy hours.
Until 3 or 4 a.m. in the dorm stairwell. Dedication.
Yep. Used balloon props, too, which he now thinks wasn't great prop usage.
We all have those early experiments we look back on. But how was it received?
Really well, actually. Got over 400 likes on his WeChat channel. Wow.
And he said creating it was cathartic, helped him process those feelings.
It's the power of art therapy, essentially.
And the feedback went beyond just likes. Peers and seniors in Fenglai really responded.
What did they say?
Peers related it to their own relationship experiences. Seniors really stressed the power and importance of original work.
That's huge validation.
Yeah, and his former R&B teachers and other Beijing choreographers even shared it.
Getting noticed by the pros, big step.
Definitely. So fast forward to senior year, he becomes president of Fenglai.
The top job. He felt his personality suited it.
Yeah, decision-making, leadership. But he also realized quickly how complex it was, how it affected friendships.
The burden of leadership.
His focus that year was heavily on dance, though. And then Nike announced that national university competition.
The one combining Kiwoo and crew battle scores.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He really wanted Fenglai to compete. They hadn't done much since that freshman year Kiwoo.
Felt they had something to prove. Yeah. Believed they'd progressed a lot in choreography. Didn't want a repeat of being mocked for their style. Felt confident in their skills now.
And he'd seen growth in the old school teams, too.
Right. Key people emerging, good practice vibe, partly thanks to the pandemic, keeping everyone on campus, fostering collaboration between the 8 teams.
So it felt like the right time for Fenglai to shine in a competition that showcased both sides.
Precisely. So they went all in. He took the lead, choreographing the Kiwoo piece.
People trusted his vision for ensemble work by then.
Yeah, he picked talented dancers from different styles, even newcomers to Kiwoo if they showed potential. Kept the tradition of having a boy, but one with better choreo skills this time.
Building a diverse team. How many people?
15. From hip-hop, boying, whacking, locking, and they trained intensely for a month. 33 days straight.
Wow. What was the piece?
Music was Alicia Keys' If I Got You, and remixes. Worked with a student from the Music Creations Association on the arrangement.
Collaborative effort. And the process. More late nights.
Oh, yeah. choreographing till 4 a.m. in hallways again. Lots of frustration and self-doubt along the way, he said.
Balancing all those elements sounds tricky. Fast, slow, formations, flow.
He had this key realization he'd forgotten to balance the arranged feel with a natural flow. Didn't want it to feel like a video game, level by level.
Avoiding mechanical structure. Maintaining the spirit.
Exactly. Had to revise 2 whole sections. He recalled this darkest hour, spending 5-6 hours just fixing one 8-count section in the student union.
Grueling. Though his teammates remember that day more positively.
Apparently. Funny how perspectives differ.
So how do they do at the Beijing regionals?
Kiwu Peace got 2nd place. Lost to Password from Communication University, who are traditionally very strong. He was okay with 2nd.
And the true battle.
They won 1st place.
Nice. Who was in the crew?
Liang Shiqian, locking, hip-hop, popping. Xianji, popper with deep foundations. A top uni house dancer from PKU grad school. And a super skilled whacking exchange student from Japan.
Sounds like a dream team.
Pretty much. They dominated. He noted the contrast model schools often lack Kiwu experience and vice versa.
Finglay managed both.
Yep. So they won the Beijing regionals overall and went to the nationals in December 2023.
The big leagues. Teams from all over, plus Taiwan and Hong Kong.
Right. The Taiwan team was seen as a huge challenge, a combined force of top uni dancers.
How did the Kiwu go at nationals?
They performed 4th. The teams before and after them ended up 1st and 2nd, Taiwan and Sichuan Communication Academy.
Tough draw.
He acknowledged the Taiwan team's skill, early exposure to K-style, J-style, focus on performance quality, and Sichuan is a pro-art school.
High standards.
But he still loved their own piece. Felt it offered something different, maybe more mature than the usual fragmented, high-energy uni style.
Sticking to their artistic vision. Any feedback?
Liao Bo, the MC, encouraged them to refine it for pro competitions. The judges were Ibuki, 11 from RMB, Hezon Cheng.
Solid panel. Final ranking.
5th in Kiro. He accepted it, mentioning they weren't necessarily his most admired choreographers anyway.
Fair enough. But the crew battle had a highlight.
Huge one. Drew the Taiwan team 1st round and won 3-2.
Whoa! Upset victory.
Big moment for them. They lost the next round to East China Normal, mainly due to one amazing female dancer, Mao Xingxi.
Still, that win against Taiwan.
Massive. So overall, 5th in Kiwu, 1st in crew battle, meant 3rd place nationally.
Fantastic result. Really put Finglay on the map.
Yeah, huge reputation boost, especially in Beijing. Recognition for beating Taiwan, positive feedback on their Kiwu, some calling it the best, more mature.
Great for morale. Team bonding, too, I bet.
Definitely. Formed strong bonds among the 19 members involved.
So what came after that success?
They leveraged that same Kiwu piece, if I got you, for another opportunity. WD China's University Direct Entry Competition.
World of Dance, competing for a spot against pro teams.
Exactly. WD offered 2 uni spots for their national finals. Feng Lei's piece won the qualifier by a big margin.
Nice. Redemption almost, considering the Nike judging.
Yep. He seemed satisfied, yeah. Noted that Communication University's piece, which scored higher at Nike Beijing, ranked much lower at WD, shows how judges differ.
Subjectivity is real. Who judged WD Riho was mentioned.
Yeah, Riho and others. So they got the spot. Chance to compete at WD China Nationals in April 2024.
Incredible opportunity. Against the pros, how did that compare?
Big differences. WD is a larger event, needed more dancers for formations on the bigger stage.
So they had to recruit more people.
Yep, a team of 26, fewer returnees from the Nike team. He could commit because he was a senior with post-grad admission secured. Daishin and Lu Jing helped choreograph.
And the experience of competing against pros.
A real eye-opener. The gap in energy, focus, stamina, resources.
Money for props, costumes, travel.
Yeah, compared to full-time pros, WD intensity was way higher.
How do they place?
2nd to last out of 31 teams, but they beat 1 professional team.
That's still something, given the circumstances. Student team, academic priority.
He acknowledged those limitations. What was the music for WD? And a cappella Daft Punk mashup by Pentatonics.
Cool choice. Concept.
Robots and humans enjoying music and art together, but it didn't really land.
Why not?
Led him to a realization. Dance is maybe better for emotion than complex narratives.
Interesting takeaway.
He observed Pro-Kiwu often focused on themes, concepts, not intricate stories, rich content over excessive expression.
Restrain the desire to emote too much, but make the content rich.
That was his conclusion. So WD marked the end of his presidency. Final showcase, graduation.
End of an era, but not the end of dance for him.
Nope. Now he's in postgrad, first year. Not president or captain anymore, but vice captain of another team, Tao Ri. Still assisting, choreographing.
Still involved.
Yeah.
Creating anything new.
Recently did a piece to Beyoncé's Two Hands to Heaven. Feels his choreo skills are really clishing now. Conceptualizing mentally, translating it successfully, attributes it to experience.
That accumulated knowledge paying off.
Less time for dance with studies, of course, but cherishes the past, feels his understanding keeps deepening.
That's great. It's a lifelong process.
Reflecting back, he saw how every step contributed. Progress isn't just physical practice, it's emotional maturity, life experience.
The idea that a dancer is always dancing, processing life.
Yeah, he admired Julian's philosophy, need to live fully to dance well. He recalled juggling rehearsals for a pro competition with Team Me.
The one they won at Dance Vision Devashi?
Yeah, while doing the Nike Kiwoo piece. Crazy times. He thinks their Nike journey could be a story itself.
Sounds like it. Any regrets looking back?
Slight regret about not dedicating more time earlier, maybe not fully appreciating Feng Lei's resources when academics felt like the only priority.
Understandable, given the pressures in China.
He acknowledged that. His senior year freedom for dance only came because postgrad was secured. Timing is everything.
True. He mentioned family support, too.
Yeah, positive upbringing, supportive parents, artistic influence from his mom's side, like his aunt introducing him to Enya. Family came to watch his WD performance.
That's wonderful. And his interactions with Riho sounded cool.
Totally. From getting her contact to her visiting practices, giving feedback, he said she was really down to earth, funny, a successful fan moment.
Huh. Did they talk much about choreography itself?
Not deeply. He noted Riho seems more performance-focused now, and he appreciates many other choreographers, too. Mentioned taking Han Yi's class.
Inspired by his presence.
Yeah.
Admired his What's Up piece.
Yeah, and a Korean exchange student in Feng Lei showed Han Yi some his early choreo, got a compliment.
Yeah.
Xin Bao saw it as a kind gesture.
Nice little connection. So overall, dance is a continuous journey for him. No grand ambitions for fame.
Exactly. Recognizes it's lifelong, content to keep loving it, dancing for enjoyment. Agrees with Wei Ming, no need for lifelong commitments, pursue it out of desire.
Healthy perspective, don't force it.
He also talked about choreography versus stage production, made a distinction.
Right, creating steps for class versus building a whole competition piece with formations, lights, props.
He felt his strength was more in stage direction, the overall picture, than pure movement invention.
Movement as just one tool in the box.
Yeah. Said the bar for truly impactful movement is high. Stage choreography is maybe easier to get into because you have more tools, formations, levels, etc.
So when he hears music, he sees the stage first, not just steps.
That's what he said. Often unhappy with his own specific movements in isolation, but accepts them as part of the bigger stage concept.
Intricate steps aren't always the most important thing.
Right. He sought advice on pulling the frame, the overall visual, and letting the music's flow guide the feeling. Like a heavy beat means heavy quality, regardless of body part.
Musicality and feeling over complex steps sometimes.
His summary. Movement choreo is hard, but maybe not always crucial if the overall feeling and musicality are strong.
Translating those mental images of big groups onto the stage must be tough, though.
Definitely. Said his early approach was trial and error, create multiple options in rehearsals, see what works. Shared examples of ambitious ideas that failed.
The experimental phase.
His recent work is more based on familiar, achievable concepts. Reusing techniques like a wave formation learned from Team Me. More efficient than constant innovation.
Balancing creativity with practicality. He sees himself as someone who can find shortcuts, but puts in the effort when needed.
Yeah, especially early on. He even encouraged listeners to try visualizing stage choreo.
Interesting exercise. And what about managing the team? Captain versus president.
Big differences. As captain, relied on enthusiasm, dedication, members recognizing his skills, divided tasks based on VC's style strengths, limited management experience then.
But president was a whole other level.
Huge shift, more challenges. Said it changed his personality, became more patient, diplomatic, focused on the association's reputation.
Trade-offs, though. Left personal dance time.
Yeah, impacted his connection with general members, felt some distance from friends who might now be discussing his decisions.
The isolation of leadership.
Yeah.
And making mistakes.
Inevitable. Shared an anecdote, unintentionally made a VP miss an event due to his own oversight and directness. Felt bad for not considering their perspective.
Learning curve.
Constant prioritizing of the association over individuals, asking people to do unpaid promo work, worrying about overworking members with ambitious projects.
That retrospective awareness that maybe his goals tired people out.
Yeah. Lower enthusiasm from older members the next year. He really stressed how different managing a student org is from a commercial group.
Academic priorities,
Yep.
university rules, no money, being a servant leader.
Exactly. Motivating volunteers, balancing needs with personal lives, navigating uni bodies, sponsors. It's complex.
The huge personal growth from it.
Definitely. Called it the most complex thing he'd experienced. Hopes the skills help his future career.
I'm sure they will. So finally, advice to his younger self as a dancer.
The main thing. Start learning old school styles earlier.
Why specifically?
He observed dancers going from old school to choreo often have more longevity, depth. Those starting with choreo and neglecting foundations often plateau.
Interesting. He felt lucky himself.
Yeah. Early start, coordination, realizing the need to learn other styles relatively early. Sees many students hitting bottlenecks focusing only on choreo classes.
And catching up later takes longer.
Right. He feels his own progress was consistent because he kept learning, reflecting. He's currently learning house and whacking, plans, jazz training.
Constantly adding to the toolkit. So for students starting with choreo now,
His advice? Learn old school fundamentals. Build familiarity with elements. Understand the culture. Many who only do choreo can't freestyle.
and freestyle is foundational to street dance. Choreo came later.
Exactly. He finds freestyle battles useful now for self-assessment. What moves has he really mastered?
Reveals habits and limitations.
Yeah, like leaning forward, favoring one side. Stuff revealed through freestyle helps him check his own choreography tendencies.
When did he start freestyling himself?
Sophomore year, found it hard initially, felt the gap with old school dancers, but persevered.
Overcame that hurdle eventually.
So, quite a journey. Let's try and wrap up the key takeaways.
Okay. We saw his early start overcoming setbacks, the huge impact of that parental support early on.
Right. Then the university years, the transformative Kiwoo competition forging bonds through intensity.
Stepping into leadership versus captain, implementing changes focused on foundation and energy.
Then, president, navigating those complex management challenges, the ambition driving them to national competitions.
His evolving understanding of choreography, from copying to creating original work, learning the difference between stage production and just steps.
And that consistent theme of the importance of foundational skills, learning old school styles, the value of continuous learning and self-reflection.
Yeah, for the learner listening, those aha moments might be seeing how crucial support is, how intense collaboration can transform you, the blend of art and management in leadership.
And just that sense that learning in any passion is an ongoing journey full of discoveries.
Definitely. It invites reflection on balancing passions with life, the different sides of leadership, and that continuous learning process in our own interests.
How do his experiences resonate with how we approach learning?
And maybe a final thought. In a world pushing for quick results, his story really highlights something else, doesn't it?
What's that?
The value of just sticking with it, persistent engagement, building that solid foundation, even if it's not flashy initially, and how unexpected turns can actually enrich everything.
So the question becomes, what are the foundational things in our areas of interest that we might be tempted to skip over chasing the advanced stuff?
Exactly. Something to chew on.
A great place to leave it. That brings us to the end of this deep dive. Thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure. It was a fascinating journey to explore.